I'm leaving now.
Lucy, my sweet.
I cleaned out the tiger cage and sorted all the meal bins. So, if it's all right, it's my turn to fix dinner.
Haven't you forgotten something, little one? Just one little thing.
Mr. Runser, please.
It's been a very long day.
I don't want to.
Now, Lucy, I thought we'd settled this last week. Don't let's forget who pays your salary. We're closed. Come back tomorrow. Wait! I haven't finished with you. I told you, we're closed.
We're not here to buy, little man. We've come to sell.
You can't possibly have anything to interest me. These are extremely rare animals of the highest quality.
What a coincidence. So am I. That is the price for humility.
Oh, please, don't.
And what else might we interest you in today, sir? Perhaps some virtue?
Not my animals, please. I'm begging you.
But what of honor, little man? At what price? Honor.
Oh my God, no! That tiger is the rarest specimen ever seen.
Tiger, tiger, burning bright. The forest of the night.
BR 61661, report to precinct headquarters, code 3, repeat code 3.
I was just finishing up my 12 out on patrol when I got the call. Welcome relief considering that the most action I'd seen all night was a schizoid grandmother doing the shimmy in her underwear in the second sector.
BR 61661, report to division headquarters, code 3, repeat code 3.
Last time I had a 3 was when some hooker vomited Thunderbird on Bryant's desk, and yours truly led the cleanup crew. Year and a half on the job, it was still the dirtiest work I'd seen. Where's Captain Bryant?
Took a sick day. Got himself a heinous case of ptomaine poisoning. He asked me personally to run the unit in his absence.
Gouza was one of the old-time guys who took their knocks in the streets. He had a friendly way about him, but you didn't want to turn your back on him if you were less than a friend.
Hope you've been enjoying your leisure time, kid, because it's time to take that thumb out of your ass.
Hallelujah.
Don't get too excited. The other Blade Runners are all jammed up. Holden sucking dinner through a straw. Gaff's working the Tyrell break-in and Steele's working special undercover. Looks like you got this one by default.
You really know how to make a girl feel wanted.
Animal murder done at Runciter Zoological. Probably just be a schizoid glitz, but we got the call. Old man Runciter lost something like 1 billion chinions worth.
10 to 1, this ain't a job for Rep Detect.
You got something better to do? Perfect your French cooking, maybe?
Slumming tonight, Slim?
I thought you were on special assignment.
Wasn't too damn special after I had the suckers out.
What happened?
Couple of fours were masquerading as fibroplast insulators down at Kaiser. I dressed up like a nurse, they never had a chance.
I'll bet. You put them on the machine?
Hell no. There's a beautiful little thing in here called the Magic, and it ain't ever been wrong. You develop it, you got a brilliant career ahead of you.
I'm working on it.
What's Gouza got you doing tonight?
AM at Runciter's.
Animal murder. Oh, those skin jobs got no respect for anything that truly lives and breathes. And that goddamn Eldon Tyrell ought to be zipped into a body bag and flushed into deep space.
Get rid of him, we'd be out of a job.
I think we're all overdue for a little off-world paid vacation. You can stop staring at my ass now.
You got eyes in the back of your head?
All you gotta do is ask, Slim.
Animal sales was a profitable and prestigious business since most real animals had died out after the Terran War. There were plenty of electric ones, though, powered by rechargeable batteries. No self-respecting human would own one of those frauds. Canvass the area. Maybe somebody had his eyes open.
I'm on it.
Scratches and paint flecks, and I knew what they meant. Unless the city had bought a jet black fire truck, somebody had a big fat traffic ticket coming.
Find something?
Piece of chrome.
From a car?
No, I think it's horse chrome. Bag it and tag it. What do you know?
About 30 counts of animal murder and one of aggravated assault. The shop's been thrashed. You ought to see this tiger cub they got in there. It's a goddamn tragedy.
How's old man Runciter holding up?
State of shock. He's been moaning and complaining about his world caving in.
You'd feel the same way if they were your animals. How many perps?
At least 2. Bloody footprints all over the scene.
Must be a delightful sight.
Tôi rất mong á, xin hỏi cái chỗ cảnh sát ở đâu ạ?
Tôi chỉ phải chào Thảo. Cái kia là mai其他小，因为你叫你不要他跟绑住去走，因为你不要他跟绑住去走。
Nothing even remotely interesting, but hell, if I was going to root through trash, my expectations weren't too high.
I already checked for a crowbar or some kind of tool. No luck, but it looks like we've got some latents.
Make sure the lab boys run them through the mainframe, human and rep. Find anything else out here?
Zilcho. Row actions inside. Abstract art. All over the walls and ceiling.
I never did appreciate art.
Ông đó đang nhìn. Xin hỏi cái chỗ cảnh sát ở đâu ạ?
Judging from the distance between the prints, I was looking for 2 very big men. One dragged his right foot, indicating a possible injury or lameness. The other appeared a lot more controlled, graceful even. Quite a pair. Security camera. It'd be a banner day if it recorded anything before it was shot out.
I already checked for a crowbar, some kind of tool.
Judging from the distance between the...
About 30 counts of animal murder and 1 of aggravated assault.
Scratches and paint flecks, and I knew what they meant. Unless the city had bought a jet black fire truck, somebody had a big fat traffic ticket coming.
My precious one. She was my baby.
McCoy, LPD.
I'm absolutely certain Lucy Devlin was involved in this heinous act. She's the young girl who works for me.
She's responsible for all this mayhem?
No, of course not. It was 2 men acting in concert with her, obviously.
Obviously. What'd they look like?
Big and scary and absolutely malevolent.
Can you think of anything they might have been after?
First, I thought they wanted money, but I don't keep any in the shop. Then I thought they wanted to steal my animals, but they started executing them.
Could they have been replicants?
Who else would be capable of such barbaric acts?
You ever do any business with the replicant manufacturers, Tyrell Corporation?
I resent that accusation.
Just wondering.
Officer, last May I personally sold Governor Colvig an exquisite Bergeron coat. I have been a guest at his house on 3 separate occasions. Do I look like I need to carry artificial product? I'm ruined. Totally ruined.
You got any discs from that camera?
It's irrelevant. Those murderers also destroyed the camera. Thousands of Jinyens worth.
Maybe it photographed them before they shot it out.
I guess you've got a point at that. I believe this is the disc from last night.
Peachy. Tell me about this Lucy.
There's not a lot I can tell you. She's only worked for me for a short while. She's about 14 years old with pink hair. A very attractive young thing.
How'd you find her?
She came to me with a reference from Ogilvy's in the Northwest Zone. And he's a very reputable wholesaler.
You treat her well?
As well as any young tot should be treated.
She got a desk? Or someplace where she worked?
She used to eat over there. My precious one. She was my baby.
See if you can dig up that reference from Ogilvy's.
Yes, it's somewhere here. Just a moment. Here you are. All my animals.
A toy dog. Howie Lee's in Chinatown. I'd eaten there myself. A candy bar. Yuck. Well, isn't that cute? Howie Lee's in Chinatown. I'd eaten there myself.
She came to me with a reference from Ogilvy's in the Northwest Zone, and he's a very reputable wholesaler.
Stick around. I may not be finished with you.
All my animals.
It didn't add up. Animal murders, the lack of any theft, the small animals alone were worth a good chunk of change on the street. It seemed more like an act of vengeance.
Cái đồ ăn ở đó rất là ngon.
Find anything else out here?
This woman says she saw that kid who worked for Runciter hanging around with a big fat guy last week.
Canvass the area. Maybe somebody had his eyes open.
I'm on it.
Anh sao là mình cùng lớn?
Find anything else out here?
This guy lives across the street. Says he heard a crash late last night. Looked out his window and saw a black sedan speeding away from the scene.
Là đến mà hả?
Tôi rất mong á, anh đang nằm nhanh.
Find anything else out here?
Zilcho. Row actions inside. Abstract art. All over the walls and ceiling.
Mấy giờ tôi
Sao mấy
phải
chị
tới
quên
đó?
quay những cái gì ra?
Xin hỏi cái chỗ cảnh sát ở đâu? Đồ ăn ở đó rất là ngon.
Mất cái quên. المركز وين؟ المركز وين؟
Real sushi was a luxury reserved only for the elite, since most sea life had become radioactive after the Third Terran War. The rest of us had to eat new sushi, soya mixed with off-world lichen. McCoy, LPD. I want to ask you a couple of questions.
Sorry, my man. I just don't got the time. Got to mix more out back.
Beautiful night, isn't it?
When business thriving, night always beautiful.
Howie says you're a master chef.
You not come back here. Air bad.
This'll only take a minute. I'm looking for a girl, about 14 years old with pink hair. You seen her?
I don't know her.
Stick around. I might want to talk to you later. Excuse me, pal. This from your place, isn't it?
Could be. Chopstick come from Yoshi's restaurant supply.
How long has that chef worked for you?
Zubin? Just month. Superior chef. Makes all kinds of new soups.
What's real fresh tonight?
Special shipment of Toro just arrived. I fix you right up. No one else. Clean as a whistle.
You're Prince, Howie. See you later, Howie. You're a pretty smart-looking cat. You wanna make some money?
Pay me large, you got my rapt attention.
Depends on how much the information's worth.
Unfortunately, my man, I got a bug. Dynamite dining, old man. Catch you later.
See you later, Howie. There's a test I'd like you to take. It won't take too long.
Test? What kind of test?
Kind of a personality test. Totally routine.
Routine?
Locked. Locked.
Live the way you've always wanted to, with a servant custom made to suit your needs.
Totally uninteresting. Yuck. Totally uninteresting. Nothing even remotely interesting, but hell, if I was going to root through trash, my expectations weren't too high. See you later, Howie. Got anything new for me, Dino?
I was wondering when you'd show your mug around here, McCoy. We got the animal corpses from Runciter's, but there wasn't a whole lot to work with.
Bone marrow?
About 50% were real, the rest were fakes.
So, Runciter was ripping his customers off.
State-of-the-art fakes. Miles beyond the crap you see on Anamoid Row.
The kind that comes from legit manufacturers?
And they're the ones that usually produce the quality.
What about the wounds?
Most of them were shot point blank, but we're looking at some others. Sloppy cuts with a knife, like the perp was really pissed off at something.
Butcher knife?
Could be, but who cuts meat anymore?
Nice bunch of reps I'm tailing. Hope you're not pulling a meat cleaver out of my back next week. Anything else?
That black paint you found on the fire hydrant? It's from a ground car.
You sure?
The angle of impact was almost head-on. And there ain't too many spinner drivers klutzy enough to smack a street-level hydrant in VTOL mode.
I heard your wife got her license back.
You're a real funny guy, McCoy.
Anything else?
That piece of chrome you found outside of Runciter's is from a 1995 Pontiac.
Nice set of wheels.
It's okay, not what I call a classic.
Anything else?
Zip, man. Try me later.
Violent street crime in the city rose again last year by a whopping 26%. According to the latest figures from the Department of Justice, Governor Kolvig attributed the change to the dramatic increase in the number of specials.
Old copies of case files, notices, and memos. The usual station junk. Old copies of case files, notices, and memos. The usual station junk. Nothing even remotely interesting, but hell, if I was going to root through trash, my expectations weren't too high.
Scanning video disk. 2 enhanceable images found. Adding enhanceable photographs to Kaya database. Runciter crime scene.
A sushi menu from Howie Lee's. Give me a hard copy of that.
Runsitter crime scene.
He looks familiar. Give me a hard copy of that. Local license plate. Give me a hard copy of that.
Uploading personal clue database. Downloading mainframe clue database. Clue database transfer complete.
This is Crystal Steel, badge number BR61354. Still working the explosion at the Tyrell manufacturing plant. It'll take a day or so to analyze the debris, but there's no doubt in my mind that we're dealing with a bomber here. Right now, it looks like the protesters had nothing to do with it. They were in too close proximity to have been in on the deal. No MOs or identities are rolling up just yet, and I'm still going through the INSET files to see if any replicant munitions experts are unaccounted for.
This woman says she saw that kid who worked for Runciter hanging around with a big fat guy last week.
This is Crystal Steel, badge number BR61354, conducting the interrogation of Spencer Gregorian, leader of CARS, Citizens Against Replicant Slavery, November 22nd, 2019.
I once again asked that my attorney...
Shut it, shitbird. I'm asking the questions. We've already put you on the machine, so we know you're not a skin job.
That term offends me.
Okay, so you're not one of those biomechanical scumbags, and you claim to not know anything about the bombing at Tyrell.
This is true. We advocate equal rights under the law for replicants. We have nothing against Tyrell Corporation for creating them.
That's some sick logic.
The replicants are living organisms, whether people like you like it or not. Replicants contribute greatly to the economic well-being of our culture. They cannot be discounted as such.
Hell, it'd be no skin off my nose if each and every one of them was hosed down for good. You ever see this guy?
Why, yes. Actually, I have. He was present at the protest. He's not part of our group, but outsiders are usually welcome.
How many new faces showed up that day?
Not too many. A handful at most.
Describe them to me.
I don't know if I can.
Oh no? Recording off. Describe them for me again.
There was that Rastafarian fellow, and one of our ex-members showed up.
Who's that?
A Japanese man named Izo.
Why'd you get rid of him?
We're a pacifist organization, and we have rules. One of them is no weapons allowed. Izo refused to check in a samurai sword at the door during meetings.
Where can I find this Izo?
He owns one of those little secondhand stores downtown.
Let me ask you a question. Who the hell bankrolls your operation?
Well, we have a number of anonymous donors, people with resources and sources.
Such as?
So anonymous, even I don't know who they are.
I almost believe you.
How long has that chef worked for you?
Zubin? Just a month.
Most of them were shot point blank, but we're looking at some others. Sloppy cuts with a knife, like the perp was...
I'm absolutely certain Lucy Devlin was involved in this heinous act. She's the young girl who works for me.
Howie Lee's. Bryant once got food poisoning there, so he shut it down for a couple of months.
Well, if it ain't Ray McCoy! Bryant finally letting you play with the big boys.
My clearance come through?
You bet. You bring your piece?
Don't leave home without it.
Steele's been running the maze every other day for 2 weeks.
and the targets are getting a little roughed up.
I thought Guza was going to requisition some new ones.
I ain't seen him down here in a month. Guess he's been busy.
Poor guy. I bet he gets all tuckered out from pushing those papers around.
And don't sell him short, McCoy. Guza could be one tough hombre. I remember when we worked Vice together. He poured acetone on 2 pimps that gave us some lip and lit a match. I'll tell you, it looked like the goddamn 4th of July out there.
Peachy. You keeping busy, pal?
Nah, the place has been pretty quiet the last couple of days.
Hit the lock, Jack.
I guess there ain't no harm in it.
Target and shoot all threats. Do not shoot innocents. Confirm target as hostile before shooting. Completed sequence. Proceed to next station. 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 Completed all sequences. Proceed to exit.
Bryant go on permanent leave and you get full use of the office, Lieutenant?
You know the procedure. Dump it all in the mainframe upstairs and I'll read it later.
You got it. Sorry to bother you, Lieutenant. I was just checking in.
We'll get back out there. Those reps ain't retiring themselves.
Yeah, suicidal targets would make my job a lot easier.
Everybody's got a job, kid.
Sorry to bother you, Lieutenant. I was just checking in.
We'll get back out there. Those reps ain't retiring themselves.
Yeah, suicidal targets would make my job a lot easier.
Everybody's got a job, kid.
Are they letting me out?
I'm not the one who makes that decision.
I suppose it's my turn to bear the cross for the cause.
You're Spencer Gregorian, right?
No. I really think my lawyer should be here.
I got some more questions for you. Tell me about your protest at Tyrell's plant.
I already told that other detective everything. Under duress.
I want to know about the people who were there. The Rastafarian and the Asian guy with the sunglasses.
I didn't know the Rastafarian. The Asian fellow was one of our ex-members. Izo was his name.
How long did you know him for?
Let's see. I met him about 5 years ago. He seemed so smart and balanced. He really wanted to help the replicant people.
Then what?
He started associating with the more militant factions. I was astounded when I heard he was supplying weapons to some of them.
What kind of weapons?
Guns so new that even the police had hardly used them, I heard.
I got some more questions for you. Lot of people involved in your cause, Spencer?
Yes, sir, we're growing fast. As more and more people realize that replicants have cognitive and emotional legitimacy, the Citizens Against Replicant Slavery will spearhead the movement towards...
Save the pitch for someone who gives a shit.
We're peaceful people, Detective. We live by a code that men like you could never understand.
Try me.
2 centuries ago, Humans were held in slavery. Brave souls formed an underground railroad.
So, you help replicants escape the city.
I'm talking figuratively, Detective.
Sure you are.
We're not children, Detective. We have resources. The world is changing. People are waking up to the injustices perpetrated by a sick society that you have helped.
A lot of them will wake up dead if reps are allowed to run amok on Terra, jerk. I'm gonna give you a little test.
The other detective, she already tested me earlier today.
Uh-huh. Look, I gotta check out the equipment, and you're the only stiff around.
I object to this treatment. If you'll just call my lawyer, he'll take care.
Your lawyer would tell you I got the authority to VK the mayor if I want. And he'd have to smile and nod and kiss my butt until I cleared him. So sit down. Reaction time is a factor in this, so please pay attention. Where do you live?
3rd sector, uptown.
Nice neighborhood?
Very. Is this going to take long?
Just keep your pants on, Spencer. A man dressed in rags approaches you on the street and asks for money.
I try to help him, of course. Buy him dinner or take him to a shelter.
What's the most embarrassing thing that ever happened to you?
I'm not answering that.
You're 7 years old. You managed to steal several marshmallows from the kitchen and sneak them back to your bedroom. You're caught, and your father spanks you.
Well, it sounds like I deserved it. But my father didn't believe in corporal punishment.
You rent a mountain cabin. On the wall, someone has hung old maps and Currier and Ives prints. A deer's head is mounted above the fireplace. A full stag with developed horns.
I'd leave.
You're at a restaurant with friends. One of them orders lobster. The chef drops the lobster into the tub of boiling water while you watch.
Are you trying to make me sick?
Like my briefcase? Department issue. Baby hide. 100% genuine human baby hide.
Appropriate. For a killer.
You suddenly feel the urge to commit suicide.
I love life too much to commit suicide. You wouldn't know about that, would you?
You're giving a speech to a crowd of hundreds. First, one person starts to laugh. He leans over and says something to the people around him. Soon the whole audience is roaring with laughter and pointing at you.
That's insulting.
Hitting too close to home?
That never happened. And even if it did, well, if I have to be scorned to get my message out, then that's what I'm going to do.
You're on a farm. You get into the pen to feed the pigs. In their excitement, the animals knock you down into the mud. Using a butcher knife, you slit the throat of the nearest sow. You're covered in blood as you stumble to your feet.
My God. You know, I actually feel sorry for you, Detective McCoy. The lack of empathy. Have you ever taken this test?
I don't need to. I know what I am.
So do I.
You see an oversized book with pictures of exotic animals on the cover. The title is Big Game Hunting in Zaire.
And let me guess, pictures of dead animals inside.
Curious, you flip it open. There's a picture of a man standing with his foot on a dead Cape buffalo. You find yourself fascinated. You keep paging through it, seeing picture after picture of animals laid to waste, each more gruesome than the last.
These questions are becoming predictable, Detective.
Test terminated.
You keeping busy, pal?
Please leave me alone. My migraine's acting up.
Roof.
Rumor has it you've been earning your stripes, McCoy.
Working on it.
Keep it up. You just might have a future in this business.
I understand it's got a hell of a retirement plan.
You VK the mark before retirement?
Didn't have to.
That's why they call it the magic.
I'm starting to understand.
You ever retire a human, your career is over. Remember that. I checked with UN Air. Looks your rep swung that Moonbus massacre last month.
They ever find the Moonbus?
Disappeared into thin air. Brian thinks it crashed out in the Kipple.
How many reps we talking about?
Enough. They're Nexus 6s, so don't take too much slack.
Gotcha. Yuck. Yuck.
Your floor number, please.
Roof. Apartments. Ground floor. Apartments.
McCoy, 88F.
88. Thank you.
I lived with the best gal I'd ever seen. She was 2 now and full of life and love. She'd cost me about a year's salary, but she was worth it. It was good to have someone warm nearby after completing a dirty job, and the retirement swag from this case would go toward getting her a partner. Here you go, baby. Dinner time. Maggie, come here, girl. Good doggy. Here you go, baby. Dinner time. Zubin was the first Nexus 6 I'd come up against. There was something in his eyes, an almost primordial desire to live. Most of the 3s, 4s, and 5s I'd seen would just give up when you had them. But these 6s, they were a whole other breed.
Violent street crime in the city rose again last year by a whopping 26%, according to the latest figures from the Department of Justice. Governor Kolvig attributed the change to the dramatic increase in the number of specials.
Portrait of the sleep-deprived.
Got your delivery here, man.
What?
Kingston Kitchen.
Oh, yes, right. Hold on.
Is this what the gravity be like on Mars?
Oh, no. It's about a third of what we got here on Terra. Real comfy. How about turning that dial, okay? When I say...
Please, can you control your rat?
I'll have you know that Ricky's a purebred Chihuahua, and he's totally real.
Things going good at Tyrell Corporation?
Boring. Old man Tyrell's been on a Wagner kick lately. He never shuts up.
You also do outside work?
Sweetie, I never go outside. It's bad for the glands.
How about Nexus 6? You know a lot about them?
I think you should be going now.
Understand good, it holds deep meaning for me now. Where be your research on Nexus 6? And your test studies, contacts, the works.
Only simulator! Extraterrestrial gravity!
One more minute, you be swallowing this explosive. 3 more minutes, they be hosing you off the True Life building across town.
No, I swear, I don't have anything. If I did, I'd give it to you.
My people sick and dying. You tell me something.
Talk to Dr. Tyrell.
Tell me something I don't know.
The organ designers, Miraji, Hannibal Chu, Luther and Lance, they're closer to him than I am.
Where?
DNA Row. They're all working down on DNA Row. No.
You one miserable package, man.
No, please, don't.
Pick up.
Hope you aren't camped out there with a bottle of tequila.
Very funny.
Early bird slays the worm, McCoy.
Don't worry, I'm up, Lieutenant. What's the buzz?
One of Tyrell's employees got his fat face splattered all over the marble interior of the Tyrell building.
Inside?
That's right. But we also got a sweet little break at it. Tyrell surveillance system recorded the whole shebang.
Beautiful. How many perps?
Just one. I don't know if it's related to the Runciter deal or not. Tyrell security will have the disc for you when you get there. You'll be good, killer.
No messages. I'm in demand. Here you go, baby. Dinner time.
Your floor number, please. Your floor number, please.
McCoy, LPD.
Just a minute.
Where do I go?
Grav test on the east wing, 66th floor. Here's the footage from the security cameras. You get a pretty good look at the man's face.
How'd he get past you guys?
He pretended to be a delivery man. Dr. Eisenduller ordered in a lot, so it didn't seem unusual.
I may have more questions for you later on.
Yes, sir.
The earring was shaped like an insect. I didn't know much about jewelry, but it looked like junk to me, like the cheap crap sold at the stands and shops of Animoid Row. Someone had tried to access a bunch of protected files on the Tyrell network and failed, not just once, but a dozen times. Tyrell engineers might forget their passwords, but what would the GravLab boys need with replicant DNA sequences and incept dates? Jesus.
I seen worse, but not by much.
Learn anything?
You could strain him through a sieve.
A takeout box from Kingston Kitchens. I'd seen more dead animals than live ones in the last 24 hours, and now it was dogs. 3 of them. I thought about Maggie and nearly threw up. Obviously, he'd been killed with an explosive, and not just because he'd been plastered on the wall with 1,000 strokes. The detonator wire I pulled out of his skull told the whole story. The killer was an expert. The charge had been big enough to do the job, but not big enough to shatter the soundproof walls of the float chamber. But I wondered why the killer didn't just shoot him. Disgusting. This earring yours?
Maybe it belonged to that other cop who was up here. The babe with the shades and the cigarettes.
Ain't her style. Call her babe to her face, you're liable to end up with a severe limp. You spot anything you think I ought to know about, tell me.
Absolutely.
You spot anything you think I ought to know about, tell me.
Absolutely.
Lagging behind again?
Guza didn't say anything about me working with a partner.
Oh, in a pig's ass, Slim. No, I'm following up on my own. Could be it's linked to this Tyrell debacle.
How's yours connected to mine?
I'm still fitting the pieces together. You know the Moonbus massacre that went down last month?
Gaff mentioned something about it.
The rogue skin jobs probably flew to Earth. And one of them is a demolitions expert, similar MO to your Vic upstairs.
Hell of a coincidence.
I'll call you if I find out anything more about your case.
You friendly with Eisendeller?
Most of the employees I see coming in morning and night, but old Marcus, Dr. Eisendeller, he almost never left his lab.
He afraid of somebody?
I think it had something to do with the air outside, and the germs. I once heard him complain about it.
Smart. What was his job?
Grub test chief engineer. The lab runs tests to see how a replicant would perform in different planetary gravitational fields. That kind of thing. One of the other engineers could tell you more.
You know if anyone lost an earring like this one lately?
Not one of the employees, that's for sure. The boss enforces a strict dress code around here.
How did Eisendeller's moo-moo fit in?
Hey, you know, company rules only apply to the lesser mortals.
How do I get in to see the big boss?
You don't, unless he wants to see you.
Okay. How do I make him want to see me?
Well, you could call his personal assistant.
Who is?
Don't know, offhand.
Yeah, I get the picture. You know anything about Tyrell's computer system?
Security's tight as a drum, if that's what you're asking.
Somebody tried to access restricted data from the terminal in Dr. Eisendeller's office.
But they couldn't get in.
Yeah. Looks like Dr. Tyrell keeps his files safer than he keeps his employees. I may have more questions for you later on.
Yes, sir.
You know who deals in insects down here?
You don't want insects? They're no good companion. But fish. Fish are good. I have every kind of fish for you. Blowfish, dorado, miniature sailfish. Very friendly.
No thanks. I got a dog at home.
Fish just as good as dog.
No, my dog is real.
Real? Oh, you must make lots of money.
Let's get back to insects. Official LPD business.
Down that end of Animal Row, you see big green sign? You try there. Good luck with dog, friend. Hope he stays healthy.
Sheep. This your work?
Ah, dragon.
Dragon?
See? Anosoptera. Dragonfly late of the American South Swampland.
You sell jewelry with dragonflies?
Item like that, very special significance. Very rare, senor. Estate item, and most likely part of large collection. Person must have plenty money to obtain a collection.
More than I can afford.
You try Hawker's Circle. Might want to try for this. With luck, you may find.
If this is from a collection, I'm also looking for the other pieces.
I make you a deal. I found out where to get dragonfly jewelry. Then, you buy a piece, right? For special lady friend? You come back later.
I'll do that.
You take care, chasing the dragon.
I interest you in a snake roller one?
Not today, thanks.
That a 45 blaster under your coat, or you just happy to be here?
You got good eyes.
They ought to be. They're the only organs of mine that survived the Phobos Wars intact.
Ray McCoy, Rep Detect.
Blade Runner, huh? How come I never heard of you?
I just got assigned.
Yeah, I'm kind of buddies with Davey Holden. How's he doing?
Word is he's gonna be okay.
That skin job must have been pretty damn quick getting by Davey like that. He's the best in the business.
He'll be back on the job soon. You got any decent ammo for my piece?
You mean the good stuff? 'Cause I know them police-issue spitballs just don't cut it.
Not these days.
Yeah, I know how it is. If you want to drop a skin job, you need a little extra oomph. I got a few clips around here somewhere. If you got the chin yen for it.
Okay, let's have it.
You want to make it as a Blade Runner? You ought to do your own investigations. You want to make it as a Blade Runner? You ought to do your own investigations.
Jesus.
See? Anosoptera, dragonfly late of the American South Swampland. Item like that, very special significance, very rare, senor. Estate item, and most likely part of large collection. Person must have plenty money to obtain a collection. You try Hawker's Circle. Might want to try for this.
That's how much time I give every stranger that wanders in here off the street.
Sell a lot of stuff that way?
I don't encourage browsers. What impresses me are people who know what they want and are not afraid to pay for it.
What's the most expensive thing you got in here?
Value is a relative notion. What's significant to you might be meaningless to me.
And vice versa.
Everything here is guaranteed. The finest, most authentic anyone can get.
You got anything that's a match for these? I got a couple of questions for you, Captain.
First one's on the house. The rest you pay for. You want chit-chat, you hire a hooker. This ain't no social club.
Pour me one.
Just one?
One, but one good one.
Step up, step up. Mama Isabella cooked you something special. Put a glow in your cheek.
McCoy, LPD. Mind if I ask you a couple of questions?
Questions? They always need answers.
That stew's looking tasty.
Fix you right up. Only 30 chinion. It put a spring in your step, man. The ladies, they be loving you.
You send a lot of deliveries over to Marcus Eisendaller at the Tyrell building?
Eisendaller. Oh, Eisendaller, yeah. Let me tell you, that man can't eat.
Send anything over lately?
No, sir. No deliveries to him no more. Not since last month. He be way behind on his bill.
Not for a month, eh?
At least. No more till him pay up.
You may have a little trouble collecting. He's dead. Thanks for your time. Thanks for your time.
Mấy giờ tôi phải tới đó đó. Ông đó đang nhìn mình.
Careful, senor. You're poisoned.
Scorpions?
See? Finest quality. Perhaps you purchased one?
I don't think so. They're beautiful, though. Never seen one before.
Oh, that'd be true, senor. Handsome man like you has lady friend, of course.
All my girl cares about is food and love.
Oh, how romantic. What is this girl's name?
Maggie.
Maggie. Ah, Maggie, senor. It's perfect, is it not?
It's kind of ugly, but you talk me good. You hear anything yet about that dragonfly jewelry, like what I showed you before?
No, senor. My friend, he's asking for me. If you come back later, maybe I know something more.
During his last election campaign, Governor Kolvig promised a bold new plan of action to clean up the worst regions of the highly toxic debris that surrounds our city, the so-called Kipple.
Lucky Strikes. Crystal's brand. I knew she was spending a lot of time in the training maze these days, even though she'd already gotten close to a perfect score.
Uploading personal clue database. Downloading mainframe clue database. Clue database transfer complete. Scanning video disk. One enhanceable image found. Adding enhanceable photographs to Kaya database. Tyrell Grav Test Lab.
The earring was shaped like an insect. I didn't know much about jewelry, but it looked like junk to me, like the cheap crap sold at the stands and shops of Animoid Row. Give me a hard copy of that. A takeout box from Kingston Kitchens. Give me a hard copy of that. The dog collar has a name on it. Ricky, maybe? Give me a hard copy of that.
Uploading personal clue database. Downloading mainframe clue database. Clue database transfer complete.
The earring was shaped like an insect. I didn't know much about jewelry, but it looked like junk to me.
Oh, in a pig's ass, Slim.
The detonator wire I pulled out of his skull. The dog collar has a name on it. Ricky, maybe? The dog collar has a name on it. The earring was shaped like an insect.
I checked with UN Air. Looks your rep swung that Moonbus massacre last month.
They have a Kingston Kitchens. Kingston Kitchens. Where have I heard that before?
One of Tyrell's employees got his fat face splattered all over the marble interior of the Tyrell building. Tyrell's surveillance system recorded the whole shebang. Tyrell security will have the disc for you when you get there.
Most of the employees I see coming in morning and night, but old Marcus, Dr. Eisenduller...
You keeping busy, pal?
Nah, the place has been pretty quiet the last couple of days.
We get a new weapons shipment?
Yeah, Guzza requisitioned a couple of cases for the assault teams.
Let me guess. He's planning on taking out a small city.
Lieutenant's a big believer in overkill.
I've gotten all I can from that.
Mainframe laboratory. Mainframe and shooting ground floor. Lockup.
You keeping busy, pal?
Please leave me alone. My migraine's acting up.
Ground floor.
The goons over at the Tyrell building wouldn't let me talk to their boss. Maybe you can set up a meeting.
Anyone else in that whole company who knows anything?
You and I both know it's a one-man show over there.
I'll give it a try, kid. I'll have to pull some strings, so don't go in there half-assed. Make sure you got some legit questions for the resident genius.
Appreciate it, Lieutenant. Bryant go on permanent leave and you get full use of the office, Lieutenant?
You'd be amazed at how accommodating a man can be after his hemorrhoids get lanced. You really been surprising the troops around here, kid. Gaff says you work that retirement like a champ.
Just doing the job.
Yeah, well, don't get too cocky. Those sixes can be damn unpredictable.
That I know.
Payments is wiring the advance to your account as we speak.
How much?
Couple hundred Chinian. Enough to buy a sandwich or two. We gotta hold back the rest until the lab does the autopsy. Paperwork, you know. Shouldn't take more than a couple of days.
So, the check's in the mail?
Hey, don't worry. The boys upstairs want to keep our best and brightest happy. Any idea what you want to spend it on?
I was thinking maybe a companion for my animal at home.
Forget that. Buy yourself something nice. Once you start carving up that juicy bacon, kid, the taste never goes away. The great things in life, believe me, you'll just be wanting more and more.
Sorry to bother you, Lieutenant. I was just checking in.
We'll get back out there. Those reps ain't retiring themselves.
Yeah, suicidal targets would make my job a lot easier.
Everybody's got a job, kid.
Ground floor, mainframe, and shooting range.
Hit the lock, Jack.
I guess there ain't no harm in it.
Target and shoot all threats. Do not shoot innocents. Confirm target as hostile before shooting. Completed sequence. Proceed to next station. Completed sequence. Proceed to next station. Completed sequence. Proceed to next station. Completed all sequences. Proceed to exit.
Roof.
You hear anything yet about that dragonfly jewelry, like what I showed you before?
No, senor. My friend, he's asking for me. If you come back later, maybe I know something more.
This guy work for you?
No, but I wish he do. He be one fine-looking man.
You sure? Never seen him before.
I'd remembered him for sure.
Thanks for your time. Thanks for your time.
Beautiful, isn't it?
The owl or the view?
Both.
The view's amazing. The owl, well, artificial things never did that much for me.
It's a flawless replica. We used a real one as a model.
Owls are extinct. Who told you the model was real?
Dr. Tyrell?
He's wrong, or lying. Check your Sydneys.
Eldon wouldn't make up something like that.
You're Tyrell's assistant?
Yes, I'm Rachel. Dr. Tyrell is very busy. I'm fully familiar with all Tyrell operations.
He does know I'm a cop, right? Blade Runner unit?
Dr. Tyrell has already met with one Blade Runner today and has important business to attend to. Your department should coordinate its efforts better.
Yeah, but...
You may speak to me or you may leave. I can't offer you any other choices.
Fair enough. I wanted to ask about Marcus Eisenduller.
I can't tell you who killed him if that's what you're asking.
We've already got a suspect. What I want to know is why the killer would be interested in replicant DNA information.
That's a stupid question.
Oh yeah? Why's that?
Your suspect is obviously a replicant, a very dangerous one.
I thought replicants were safe, more human than human. Isn't Dr. Tyrell pushing to make it legal to use rep labor to clean up the kipple?
Are we here to discuss corporate policy or Marcus Eisenduller's murder?
A little of both. You heard about the Moonbus hijacking. Yeah, I guess you would have. 50 people dead.
You can't blame...
I'm surprised you aren't out doing spin control. The public gets nervous when your pets wander around the city without a leash.
Replicants aren't pets.
Right. Pets live longer and don't go around killing people.
There are safeguards in the design.
Yeah, I've seen the data. Implanted memories, a 4-year lifespan. I'd probably get a little crazy too, but I don't think I'd start killing people.
Wouldn't you?
As I explained to Mr. Deckard earlier, I've given the Nexus 6 model a past. I've given it the purity and innocence of childhood. And all the joy and despair that comes with a real existence. That's hardly a death sentence. That's life.
I thought you weren't meeting with any more Blade Runners today.
Well, I decided to make an exception. Mr. McCoy, isn't it? You do understand the need for the Nexus 6 to have an identity?
Not really. No. I do see why a replicant who has an identity would want to steal Eisenduller's files.
Please, enlighten me.
They want more life.
They're wasting their time.
They're gonna come for you, just like they came for Eisenduller.
I have nothing to fear from any of my children. I tell them all exactly what I told you. Have I given you what you came here for?
I'm not sure. Yeah, maybe.
Then if you'll excuse me, I have a stockholder meeting to attend.
Someone had tried to access a bunch of protected files on the Tyrell network and failed.
That black paint you found on the fire hydrant?
This guy lives across the street. Says he heard a crash late.
What I want to know is why the killer would be...
There's not a lot I can tell you. She's only worked for me.
As I explained to Mr. Deckard earlier...
She came to me with a reference from Ogilvy's in the Northwest Zone, and he's a very reputable wholesaler.
Locked. You hear anything yet about that dragonfly jewelry?
No, senor. If you come...
You know anything about insects?
I regret that I do not know the word, save that I feed them to my snakes.
You do what?
Artificial ones, of course. The safeguards in the design of my snakes would not allow them to swallow a real insect.
I assume that this insect is already extinct.
They all died after the war, yes.
So the fakes must be pretty expensive.
If bought in bulk, the price is acceptable. They do not need to eat them, of course, but the added realism is worth every penny. Have you ever seen such craftsmanship?
Right now I'm more interested in the insect.
Perhaps you should ask the Peruvian woman next door. She's an expert on such things and will cut a wonderful deal to friends.
Your floor number, please.
Apartments.
McCoy, 88F.
88. Thank you.
Who's the best dog in the whole world? Good doggy. Here you go, baby. Dinner time. No messages. I'm in demand.
Violent street crime in the city rose again last year by a whopping 26%, according to the latest figures from the Department of Justice. Governor Kolvig attributed the change to the dramatic increase in the number of specials registered as city residents and promised a tough new set of standards for the City Immigration Bureau by next month.
No messages. I'm in demand.
Run-sitter crime scene.
A sushi menu from Howie Lee's.
Tyrell Grav Test Lab. Your floor number, please. Your floor number, please.
You got anything that's a match for these? McCoy, LPD. Nothing even remotely interesting, but hell, if I was going to root through trash, my expectations weren't too high. Does this badge mean anything to you? Hey.
You're horning in on my action, rookie. Take a stroll.
Hey.
Been pretty busy, haven't you, Slim?
Hey.
What are you doing here, Slim?
You hear anything yet about that dragonfly jewelry, like what I showed you before?
No, senor. My friend, he's asking for me. If you come back later, maybe I know something more.
You want to make it as a Blade Runner? You ought to do your own investigations.
I've gotten all I can from that. Locked. Anything unusual happening down here?
I haven't heard much. You've all been very quiet.